Assalamualaikum class. In this video we will discuss exercise 1.5 quadratic equations and applications. So at first we will discuss that what is meant by a quadratic equation. So a quadratic equation is an equation with degree 2. Degree 2 means the maximum power of the variable must be 2. So here we have a general form of quadratic equation, that is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a, b and c are real numbers, and there is a condition on a that a can never be 0, because if a is 0 we will not have any term with square and we will have only a term with x, that is a coefficient 1, and it will be a linear equation, not a quadratic equation. So that's why we have to impose the condition that the coefficient of x square must be non-zero term so that the equation remains quadratic. So b can be 0, c can be 0, but a can never be 0 in order to have our equation to be quadratic. Now there are some methods to solve quadratic equation. Basically there are 4 methods to solve the quadratic equation, and we will discuss the methods one by one. The first method to solve the quadratic equation is by factorization. That is, we will use the factorization to solve a quadratic equation. Now solve a quadratic equation means, or solving a quadratic equation means, we want to find out, or we want to evaluate the value of the variable which is going to satisfy the equation. One thing before we start the solution of quadratic equation, that in the linear equations we were having only one value of x that is going to satisfy the equation, but for quadratic equation we will have two solutions, or the two values of the variable which will satisfy the equation. So the number of solutions will always be equal to the degree of the equation. That is, the cubic equations have 3 solutions, quadratic equations have 2 solutions, linear equations have 1 solution. So quadratic, that is degree 2, so we will have 2 solutions as an answer for this, or the two values for the variable. So here we have the match problem 1. You may go through example 1 easily, which is already solved in the book. So we have the match problem 1 part B that we are going to solve. We have the quadratic equation 3x square plus 7x minus 20 is equal to 0. As you can see that we are having 3 terms, so we will go for midterm breaking. For midterm breaking we have to multiply the first and last coefficient. Now 3 into minus 20 is minus 60. Now we will try to find out such factors of minus 60 which is going to have an addition to get the answer to be 7. So we know that 12 into 5 is 60. Now we will get plus 12 and minus 5. Their product is minus 60 and their addition is plus 7. So I am going to replace this plus 7 with 3x square plus 12x minus 5x minus 20. What if I have minus 7 over here? If I have minus 7 over here, I will choose minus 12 plus 5. So it depends on the middle term that we are having, that which factors we are going to choose. So I have breaked 7x to be 12x minus 5x, and now I am going to take common from the two factors. I will take 3x common from these two, that is 3x common, so I will left with x plus 4, and I will take minus 5 common from this, and I will be left with minus 5 into x plus 4. Now I will take common x plus 4, and we will get the other factor to be 3x minus 5, 3x from here minus 5 from here. So this is how we have performed the factorization. Now we know that the product of any two terms will be 0 if and only if any one of them is 0. So either x plus 4 is equal to 0 or 3x minus 5 is equal to 0, that is x is equal to minus 4 or x is equal to 5 by 3. So these are the two solutions of the given quadratic equation by factorization. So we have to find out the factors, and then we will put the factors to be 1 by 1 0, and we will get the two solutions. Next we have part C from the same match problem. 4x square plus 12x plus 9 is equal to 0. Again for the midterm breaking, I will multiply the first and last coefficient. So 4 into 9 is 36. Now we will find out the factors of 36 which are going to have 12 as an answer after addition. So although 12 into 3 is 36, but the addition cannot give us for answer 12. And we also know that 6 into 6, also 4 into 9 is 36 again, but again 4 into 9, when I'm going to add 4 and 9 I will get 13, not 12. So these are not good options for replacing. So 36 is also 6 into 6, so when I'm going to add 6 and 6 I will get 12. That's why I have chosen the middle term breaking to be 6x and 6x. So I will take 2x common from these two, I will left with 2x plus 3, and I will take 3 common from the other two, so we will have 2x plus 3. Now taking 2x plus 3 common, 2x from here, 3 from here, that is we will have 2x plus 3 whole square. That is, you can even apply the formula on it, but you can go for midterm breaking as well. So when we have 2x plus 3 whole square is equal to 0, we will not say that 2x plus 3 is 1 power 0. The whole power is 2 means that we are having the two factors with the same expression. Now 2x plus 3 is equal to 0 will give us minus 3 by 2. It really doesn't mean that we are having only one root. It means that we are having a repeated roots, real and repeated roots, when we are having the same expression, and it happens when we have a perfect square in the factorization. Next we have part D. We have the equation 4x square is equal to 5x. So I can shift 5x on the other side so that it is possible for me to take out to perform factorization. So I will take x common, we are left with x into 4x minus 5. So it means either x is equal to 0 or x is equal to 5 by 4. These are the two solutions for the given equation. One thing that must be mentioned over here, that you cannot cancel out this x with this x, because if we are cancelling x, it means we are imposing the condition that xy is not equal to 0. That's why I'm able to divide x on both sides. But you cannot say that x is not equal to 0, because x is a free variable, it can have any possible real value. So this is never possible to cut out the variable or to cancel out the variable on both sides. We always have to take common so that we may have a root x is equal to 0. Now we have the second method, which is using a square root property. That is, we will apply the square root property. So here we have match problem 2. You can go through example 2, which is already solved. So we have part A, 9x square minus 5 is equal to 0. At first we will find out x square, the expression for x square, which is 5 by 9. Now taking square root on both sides, I will get x is equal to plus minus. Now when I apply square root of 5 will remain as it is, because 5 is not a perfect square of any number, but 9 square root of 9 is going to be 3, so it's plus minus square root of 5 over 3. Next part is 2x square plus 8 is equal to 0. I will shift 8 on the other side. 2x square is equal to minus 8, or x square is equal to minus 4. Taking square root on both sides, what we are going to have, x is equal to plus minus 2 iota. Here you can see that how I have solved, because whenever we are having a negative number in the square root, we will have complex numbers. So square root of minus 4 can be written as square root of 4 into square root of minus 1. This square root of minus 1 is representing a complex or imaginary number, that is iota, and the square root of 4 is plus minus 2, so we will have plus minus 2 iota as an answer. Next we have part C, x plus 1 by 3 whole square is equal to 2 by 9. So we will simply take the square root on both sides. We will get x plus 1 by 3 is equal to plus minus square root of 2 by 3, because the square root of 9 is 3. So shifting this 1 by 3 on the other side, so minus 1 plus minus square root of 2 whole divided by 3 is the final answer for this equation. This is how we can use a square root property to solve quadratic equations. You can see that the factorization is not possible in this case. That's why we are applying square root property. Next method is by completing square method. So it is clear from the name that completing square method means we will try to complete the square of the given expression. Complete square means we will try to follow up the formula a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square, and a minus b whole square is equal to a square minus 2ab plus b square. So these are the two formulas that we will try to generate or try to develop. So it depends that either we are having a plus sign or a negative sign. So we are having the equation 2x square minus 4x plus 3. I'm not solving it completely, I'm just discussing that how we can have a perfect square, and then we will solve a question properly. So when we have 2x square minus 4x plus 3, so the first step what we have to do, we will try to compare it with the equation this one or this one. As we have minus 4x, so we will try to complete it with a minus b whole square. So when I'm going to compare the two parts or the two equations, the first thing that you must have that the coefficient of x square or the square term must be 1. Here you can see that the coefficient of a square is 1, so we will try to make the coefficient of the square term to be 1. For this we will divide whole equation by 2. So when I'm going to divide the whole equation by 2, we are left with x square minus 2x is equal to 3 by 2. Now we are going to compare with the part a square minus 2ab, because we will find out b, because b square is missing right now. 3 by 2 is not the square of any number, so we will try to find out b so that we can add and subtract of b square and we will complete the formula. So when compare the two parts, we will get a is equal to x and 2x is equal to 2ab. Now we will put x is equal to a and a will be cancelled out and this 2 will be divided over here. So this is how we can evaluate the b part or the b value or the term of the square, that we are just going to divide the coefficient of x by 2. अपने x के we have to divide the coefficient of x by 2. This is by formula, not by any way or not by the reason that we are having 2 over here. We just have to divide the coefficient of x by 2 in order to get the value of b. So the value of b is 1. I am going to add square of b on both sides because we needed 1 square or b square over here, but we cannot add some term on only one side. Either we have to add and subtract on the same side, or we have to add it on the both sides, so that our equation must be balanced. So I'm going to add 1 square on both sides of the equation, and here is the expression x minus 1 whole square is equal to 5 by 2. This is how we can have a perfect square for these terms. Now we are going to perform match problem 4. This is not a solution. Once again, I will let you know that this is not the solution. In this part, we just have a discussion that how we can have a completing square method on it. So next we have match problem 4, part A. X square plus 8x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now we can see that the coefficient of x square is already 1, so we will move for the second step. Now for the second step, we will find out the value of b. So how we can find out the value of b? We will divide the coefficient of x by 2. So 8 by 2 is 4. It means b is equal to 4. So I'm going to add 4 square on both sides of the equation. So x square plus 8x plus 16 will be equal to 16 plus 3. So this 4 square is 16, this is 16, and this minus 3 will be plus 3 on the other side. This expression will be x plus 4 whole square is equal to 19. Now taking square root on both sides, x is equal to minus 4 plus minus the square root of 19. Next one is the b part of the equation. Again we are having the equation 3x square minus 12x plus 13. So we have to make the coefficient of x square 1, and for this we will divide the whole equation by 3 because the coefficient of x square is 3 here. So we will get x square minus 4x is equal to 13 by 3. We can easily shift this 13 by 3 on the other side. Now we will find out the value of b. For this we will divide the coefficient of x by 2, and the answer we will get is plus 2. So we will add the square of 2 on both sides because we need a square minus 2ab plus b square. So adding b square or 2 square on both sides, we will get x minus 2 whole square is equal to minus 1 by 3. Now taking square root on both sides, we will get x minus 2 is equal to plus minus 1 over square root of 3 iota. So this is how we can solve a quadratic equation using completing square method. Now we will apply the completing square method on the equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, the general form of quadratic equation. So we will divide the whole equation by a because the coefficient of x square is a, not 1, and we know that we have imposed the condition that a is not equal to 0, so it means that division is possible. So dividing the whole equation by a, we get this expression. Now we will find out the value of b, or the square term in the formula. For this we will divide the coefficient of x by 2. So b over a divided by 2 is going to be b over 2a. So we will add square of this b on both sides. So we will get b square over b over 2a whole square plus b over 2a whole square. So this is going to be x plus b over 2a whole square. By taking the LCM, we will get minus 4ac plus b square over 4a square. You can see that the LCM is 4a square, and here we will have minus 4ac because minus c as it is, this a and a will be cancelled out, and 4a must be multiplied with c, so minus 4ac plus b square. So next we will apply square root on both sides, and then square root of 4a square is equal to 2a, and here we generate the quadratic formula. That's why we are having a proof that how quadratic formula is generated and how it is useful to solve quadratic equations. Next we have the fourth method to solve quadratic equation, which is quadratic formula. So here we are going to discuss match problem 5. You can go through example 5 which is already solved in the book. So here we have the equation x square minus 5 by 2 is equal to minus 3x to be solved by using quadratic formula. So at first we are going to shift this minus 3x on the left hand side, because we must have 0 on the right hand side when we are going to apply quadratic formula or whenever we are going to solve any quadratic equation. So here we have x square plus 3x minus 5 by 2 is equal to 0. Now we will compare this equation with the standard form of quadratic equation, that is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Why we are comparing a given equation with the standard form of equation? Because if you remember, we solve this standard equation or standard quadratic equation to get the quadratic formula by using complete square method. That's why we are going to compare it with the standard form of equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Clearly, when we are going to compare, a will be equal to 1, b will be equal to 3, and c will be equal to minus 5 by 2. Here the signs are really very important, because you can see that each coefficient in this equation is positive. So when I'm going to compare it with any expression which is with a negative sign, it means we must have to take the value to be negative. So when I compare ax square with x square, so clearly we can see that a will be equal to 1. Similarly, when bx is compared with 3x, b will be equal to 3 and c will be equal to minus 5 by 2. So here are the values of a, b and c that I'm going to put in quadratic formula, which is x is equal to minus b plus minus square root b square minus 4ac over 2a. Now inserting the values of a, b and c in this quadratic formula, we get minus 3 plus minus 3 square will be 9, minus 4 into 1, which is a value of a, and this value of c is minus 5 by 2. So 2 and 4 will be cancelled out, and we will get 10 minus minus plus 10. So we will get the form minus 3 plus minus square root of 19 by 2. So this is how we can solve any quadratic equation with the help of we will discuss the nature of the roots, that how we can determine the nature of the roots without solving the equation completely. For this, quadratic formula plays a really very important role. So we have an equation x square minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. Now comparing this equation with the standard form of quadratic equation, so we will get a is 1, b is minus 5 and c to be 6. Now inserting the values in quadratic formula, we will get minus into minus plus 5 plus minus square root of 25 minus 24 will be 1 over 2. Now square root of 1 is equal to 1. So this plus minus means I am going to add 1 one time, and then I have to subtract 1 from 5 as well. So 5 plus 1 whole divided by 2 and 5 minus 1 whole divided by 2 are the two roots, or are the two values of x. So we will get 3 and 2. So you can see that we are going to have real and distinct roots. Next we have the equation x square minus 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. Again comparing it with the standard form of quadratic equation, we will get a 1, b minus 2 and c to be plus 1. Now inserting the values in quadratic formula, we will get 4 minus 4 0, and square root of 0 is 0. So when I am going to add 0, that is 2 plus 0 over 2 will be 1, and when I am going to subtract 0 again, we will get the same answer, and hence you can see that we are going to have real and repeated roots. We cannot say that we are going to have only one root. We are having two roots, but both are the same. Next one is 2x square minus 4x plus 3 is equal to 0. Again comparing it with the standard form of quadratic equation, we will get a is equal to 2, b is minus 4 and c is equal to 3. Now inserting the values in the quadratic formula, here you can see we get square root of 16 minus 24, that is the square root of minus 8, and whenever we get negative number in the square root, we will have the complex numbers. So now we are going to discuss that how we can determine these three types of natures without solving the equation completely. So you can see that we may have real and distinct roots, real and repeated roots, and complex roots, and it all depends on the expression which is appearing in the square root, because whenever we get a negative square root term, obviously we are going to have complex roots. Whenever we are going to have zero, once we'll add 0 and then subtract 0, we will get the same answer. So real and repeated roots in the case of zero term, and real and distinct roots whenever we are going to have a positive number in the square root. So this is how we can determine the nature of the roots with the help of only one expression which is appearing in the square root, that is b square minus 4ac. So this expression b square minus 4ac is named as discriminant, and all the nature of the roots depends on the sign of discriminant that we are going to have. For example, you can see that when the discriminant is positive, 25 minus 24 is a positive number. So when we take the square root of a positive number, we will get a positive defined real number, which will give us two different answers, because adding and subtracting the same number will provide you a different answer. So real and distinct roots in the case of positive discriminant. So whenever discriminant is a positive number, we will have real and distinct roots. Then we will have real and repeated roots when discriminant is equal to 0. So when we are having discriminant 0, we are going to have real and repeated roots, and for complex numbers we are having whenever discriminant is a negative number, we will have complex roots. So this is how we can determine the nature of the roots with the help of discriminant, that is b square minus 4ac.